Hello and welcome to Thought for Today. Having a fair skin, I go every several months, 6 months or so, to a GP who has particular expertise in looking at things, spots and things on your skin and telling whether they're dangerous or not. and he often gives me the dry ice treatment for one or two spots, but recently, or a few months ago, he said to me, I think it's about time that you had a full sort of skin treatment to knock out anything on your face. And so, taking advantage of this time of lockdown, for the last week or so, I've been applying this ointment to my face, and you can see, if you could see me here, you'd see that I have a whole lot of spots on my face. Looks like I've got a case of measles, but you can see all these things. There are actually scores of these little red spots. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'll back off from the camera. And it's a very clever ointment because it reveals that what you can't see with the naked eye are all these little things sort of growing away on the skin, most of which will be solar keratosis, which are quite harmless, spotty sort of skin damage, sun damage, but some of them may well be turning into something nasty. So anyway, the ointment's at work, and there it goes. So it's a clever sort of ointment. It reveals different things, and I felt a little bit like too that classic Oscar Wilde story, The Picture of Dorian Gray, where the man is living a life which is apparently he doesn't age, but upstairs he's got a portrait which shows all his inner workings of what's going on in his soul, and some of which have been pretty terrible, the life that he's led. And so that analogy came to mind. But I thought particularly that's a somewhat sort of bleak sort of view of sardonic way of understanding human life. But it brings to mind the two things that have really stood out for me at this time anyway in our journey through these thoughts that people have been presenting. And one was the story about Lady Julian of Norwich, who, through an illness which nearly took her life, had some amazing revelations of Jesus and personal visions and visitations from him. And her words that all shall be well, that was the wisdom that guided her through her terrible time, that all shall be well, and not just with her, but with the life of the world, that the mystery of God's love transcends all the terrible things that can happen in the world, and not to lose faith and not to lose hope. And the second was that lovely cartoon by Michael Lerny called The Way to Get There, which showed the man walking out through his back garden fence out onto the course of his life and the pathway, and the way to get there was simply to persist and never to give up, never to lose hope. And I thought of a young man, a patient with cystic fibrosis in the hospital that I used to visit years ago, and he died in his mid-20s. But that cartoon which I gave him, that particular learning cartoon, was one that gave him great faith, great hope and courage to live his life with a lot of suffering in it. And I thought that this very clever cream that I've been putting on, it really is a sort of a bit of a metaphor in some ways. Inadequate, of course, but does possibly give us something to work with. A metaphor of what COVID-19 has been to our country and the world too, in that it is revealing a lot of things in the solitude and the suffering. It is revealing a lot of things, and even God is in that revelation. It's showing a sort of a judgment in some ways, I think, of the world. Not a judgment in the sense of God's punishment for sin, but rather it's a revelation, an assessment, that sort of judgment. In the same way, perhaps, that a cricket umpire makes an assessment of whether a batter is out LBW, that there is a judgment, an assessment made, and that's something that really leaves the person who's being judged or assessed, the world that's being judged or assessed, to respond to. And perhaps there's a sense in which this virus is making a revelation to us and to the world, to our country, of things that need to be paid attention to at this time. How else might we be called to pay attention to things like the damage to the environment, to the problems that we will inevitably run into in the course of time with the response being made to climate change? How else would we be called to look seriously at things like income inequality, the problem of refugees, and what we're going to do about that? How else, without some sort of revelation that perhaps mysteriously God is bringing to us in this? We can think too of our own lives. What is this virus and this time, this bleak time, this unhappy time, a time of suffering and struggle? What is it revealing to us about our own lives? What is it saying to us about the Holy Spirit speaking to us, and how God's love is undergirding this in some mysterious way, not causing it, but is present in it to show us some things perhaps that we need to have revealed to us in our lives. So may God bless us all and bring us the fruits of God's wisdom. Amen.